Welcome to Youth Empowering the Streets. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Vanessa. We are a community of high school and college youth coming together to produce shows to engage in dialogue with community members about youth violence and crime.
The National Forum for Youth Violence Prevention, City of San Jose, Shortino Foundation and CreaTV have joined efforts to make this show possible.
Today's show will highlight the story of Anthony Santa Cruz. Anthony was a son, a father, a student, and a football player at San Jose High School. Unfortunately, Anthony was also the fifth homicide of 2013 in San Jose. Anthony was stabbed to death in front of his high school after school in February this year. Resolution for the case has not been solved.
Today we have the privilege of speaking with some of Anthony's close friends and family members. We want to welcome Anthony's mom, Elsa Lopez, and Anthony's father, Angel Santa Cruz.
Welcome, Elsa and Angel. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little about Anthony.
You want to go first or me? Anthony was the youngest out of 3 children. He was my baby. Anthony loved to play with sports. He played in sports since he was a young man. He also played soccer and baseball. I always kept him in sports. He was just an outgoing kid, a joker. He was very athletic, he was always competitive. He's very competitive. Anthony was also a father to AJ Santa Cruz. He had a lot of uncles and aunts and cousins, and I can go on and on stories of Anthony. So, do you want to say a little bit about Anthony?
Anthony to me was my baby as well. He was our youngest. My and him relationship was a special one. He was the one kid I had. Our conversation was easiest for me to have with me and him. We were just on a level that it's hard to explain. But he was a good kid. We loved sports. I loved watching him. Like I said, we had a really good relationship. I love him.
So, was Anthony's death considered a gang-related homicide, or if so, what did you know about his involvement?
Well, Anthony's death is, how can I say, they haven't ruled it out completely to being gang-related because of how it happened. Anthony was at home doing his homework and decided to get up and go walk back to the store, which school was out right at the same time when he made it to the corner. So Anthony wasn't in gang colors, and the 2 guys that did this to Anthony were no one had seen him in the neighborhood before. The neighborhood where Anthony was at, it was right at the corner of San Jose High School, and at San Jose High, there's always a lot of police officers there, so there was a lot of teachers, there was a lot of students there. It had just, the bell had just rang. And these 2 guys stuck out a lot of people weren't familiar with these 2 guys. So homicide has not said completely that's gang related. We will really not know that until we catch the 2 young men that took his life to really say if it was or if it wasn't. For me, I have a hard trouble with them saying gang related because my son is my son, and for me to label it as gang related, I feel sometimes that they use that as just sweeping it under the rug, another gang related case. For me, I fought a lot on this because it doesn't matter if, to me, a person that takes someone's life takes their life. You can be in bright red, bright blue. It doesn't matter. You don't have the right to take someone's life. So when they say gang related, it's kind of hard for me to just say, yeah, he was, or things like that, because that doesn't justify the person taking my son's life.
So to this day, what is the status of the case?
There are leads. There was over 35 to 40 witnesses in the police station when I got there. There hasn't been, they have not caught these 2 young men that took my son's life yet. So for me, it's like, as a mother, I have to be out there fighting in the community and doing marches and doing my part as a mother. And I have to go out there and I just pass out his flyers and stuff because there hasn't been any real leads to these two persons that took my son's life. So again, it's just a case that's just sitting there. You know, I understand detectives are doing their job, but I feel I have to do my job and keep my son's name alive out there until these two guys are caught.
And this next question's for you. I know you barely started coming out and speaking to the public, and I want to thank you again for being here. But upon hearing about Anthony's death, how did you react?
Well, at first it was I didn't want to believe it, you know, because it's like I said, he was my baby at the time, and you know, it was just and the way it happened, I think was more surprising is how, you know, how it came about, how his death came about. Like I said, at first I was angry, and you know, the first thing I wanted to do was react and try to retaliate, but you know, that's not gonna get nowhere. It's not gonna bring my son back, and I definitely don't want to bring the pain that I feel for my son's death to anybody else. So yeah, so it was hard, but you know, since then, you know, man, I've been having a lot of growth. Like for now, I do a lot of community service. I talk to a lot of youth. I spoke today at a school. I talk to a lot of kids at youth, and that's how I deal with it now. You know what I mean? And so that's
very good.
Yeah.
So another question, since Anthony's passing, how has your perception as a parent changed? And also, what is the message you would like to get out there to other fathers?
The main thing is it's never too late to rededicate your relationship with your sons. You know, you just because you know, I mean, you haven't been from day one. You and the kid's mom ain't seen eye to eye, or there's some type of separation. You know, and you haven't been around your kid's life. It's never too late, and that's one thing I'm learning right now is that, you know, you know, just because I wasn't there every day doesn't mean I can't be there now. And you know, and I think that the hardest thing for me is I didn't have a chance to be a father with him, not because I didn't have the opportunity, it's because I choose not to have to be there. And now that, you know, my son's gone, you know what I mean, it's like almost like a burden, but it's not a burden. But now I got 5 other children I could be there for, and you know, and I'm gonna do whatever I could to help Elsa, you know, bring justice. And that's our main goal. We both have a common ground, and that's bring justice.
And we know you started from the streets to grave, to the grave. And can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
So after Anthony's passing, for me, Anthony's passing was really hard, where I have God in my life. I'm a Christian woman, and I have a lot of faith in God. And for me, the only way I can, you know, do something is to fight back. So what I decided to do is I started doing marches, Stop the Violence marches, and I started going out more in the community and helping out. So I decided to, I was just thinking about him, and Anthony liked to write a lot on paper and stuff, and then I seen he wrote streets on one of his papers. So then I thought, you know, he was just walking down the street and his life was taken, and I had to bury my son. So that's where I got from the streets to the grave. And what it is I just want to reach out to the youth that are in gang violence, and that are that mothers that have lost their children to gang violence or drug overdose or suicide, is where I want to come in with this nonprofit agency and give them resources to help them out, and just to go to the family, the mothers, and talk to them and let them know that now that my son is gone, I have to be my son's voice. And now that I'm his voice, I have to speak out, and I have to fight for that justice, to get justice for my son. And I want to motivate mothers that depression, you know, it can knock you, or you can get mad and get out there and fight for justice.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Now we will be watching a few clips from an event called Living Above the Influence in Morgan Hill.
And after this, we'll be back with more of Anthony's friends and family.
my dad, who is an ex-drug addict and also ex-prison inmate, ex-gang member, and he is recovered and healed today, praise God. And he's here today somewhere. But anyway, I went to my dad and said, hey, how about you go to Janessa's school and talk to the kids there. Talk to them about your past, you know, what you've been through and how you came out of it. So we went to Sobrato School. However, the classroom that they placed my daughter in, none of those kids were really interested in that, in hearing. And so I said, how about we go to a park and have a little barbecue? I thought we'd have 15 people. We ended up having like 75. And every year it's just grown. This is probably the least amount of people this year. This is a new location for us, but I am glad that each of you are here. So that was the beginning of Living Above the Influence, and it's just been an annual event. And our goal is to connect our youth and families to the resources that they need. It's never too late to change. We all, you know, have made mistakes. It's never too late to reach to another level in life. And it's never too late for us to try to reach out and help somebody else.
The reason why I bring my son's picture is because I carry this is what I have to carry now, is a picture of my son. So I bring it out here and I just want to show it to you because it has the homicide unit on it, and it has Crime Stoppers in it. And we still to this day have not got any justice for my son's homicide. And I bring this picture out so people can see it and people can get the number so we can get justice for Anthony. And I have a Justice for Anthony's page on Facebook, and I also have a lot of followers on there that talk. I speak to them. I speak to the mothers, the fathers, and everybody. And I just like to bring out his reward picture so you guys can see his picture and his face. And this is all I carry around is his pictures now, all just memories of him.
Welcome back. With us now we have Benita Huerta, the mother of Anthony's son and a friend of Anthony, Martin Hill. How has your life changed since Anthony's passing, Benita?
My life has changed dramatically. A year ago today, I would never have thought I'd be where I am today, being a single mom, dealing with my son. When Anthony first passed, I was very miserable, depressed. I just didn't know how to really go on without life, without him. But that, I know for me, that was me being selfish because at the end of the day, I'm the one who was blessed with his son.
So how do you hope to build a positive future for your son?
Right now, I'm continuing with school. I plan to just further my education and get a good job and be able to support my son on my own like I've been doing.
So Martin, can you tell us a little bit about Anthony and what did he like to do? What did you guys do together and stuff?
Man, Anthony, that's my boy right there. There wasn't anything that we didn't like doing, to tell you the truth. We were very active since we were younger. We loved playing football. We loved just hanging out with everyone. We were well known around the community, and everywhere we went, we were just cool with a lot of people. And he was a very cool dude. He liked to network and just talk to everyone. He didn't discriminate. He was cool with everyone. It's just sad that would happen to him, you know? Think about it every day.
So Martin, how did it affect you personally, losing a friend?
Personally, it affected me because Anthony was one of the first friends that showed me what loyalty was. No matter what, he was always loyal to me and I was loyal to him, and we've been like that since we were younger. And I watched out for him, he watched out for me, and it hurt me to be there to know I couldn't watch out for him when that happened. So that was very tough taking that.
And so what steps are you taking to, move on from this and just make a change? And
right now I'm just trying to better myself and keep his name known out there, that let him know everyone could change because he was on the better track for himself. And I just want to keep his name known and keep it out there. Never let it die out.
That's good.
So, Benita, what are you doing to keep his name alive?
Right now, we are involved with a lot of marches, as his mother had said. We go out there to the community, we talk to people, we attend community events, me and his son, to show the world, you know, he did have a son and he's never gonna be able to be there for his son. My son's 3 years old and he's gonna grow up not really knowing his dad because someone chose to take his life. So for me, going out there, speaking to people, doing interviews, to get his name out there is what I have to do to get justice for my son.
So, with AJ, how are you getting him through this also?
It's really hard, especially him being 3. He asks us a lot of questions. Anthony wasn't just, you know, a dad. He was, you know, AJ's best friend. He actually, you know, was there. Unlike, you know, most young teenage dads, you know, Anthony stepped up and, you know, was there for AJ. And it's hard. AJ asks us, you know, where's my dad? When's my dad coming home? And it's kind of hard to deal with it. He deals with a lot of anger towards what happened, and it's kind of hard. There's no really good way for me to explain the situation for my son, but for me, I just every day talk to him about his dad, you know, show him pictures about his dad so he has those memories.
And what advice would either of you give someone going through the same situation you guys are going through?
Personally, I wouldn't wish what I'm going through for anybody else. It is, you know, by far the worst feeling I've ever experienced. But if I'd have to give advice, you know, I'd just say, especially if they have a kid, you know, the best thing to do is to be strong for your child, because at the end of the day, your child is all you have and you're all they have. So you need to set that standard for them to show them that there is, you know, a better life out there and, you know, to be on the right path.
What about for your situation?
I just want to let everyone know that, like, personally, you can change and you can better yourself, because that was everything Anthony was about changing and trying to do and make everything better around him. He wasn't someone that wasn't, like, he cared about people. He wasn't someone that just didn't care about no one, didn't want to see no one do better. Like a lot of people from our community and where I'm from, they don't want to see no one do better. They don't really care about no one like that. Anthony wasn't like that. He had a caring heart. He wanted to see everyone generally do good and do better. He was all about family, caring, and loyalty. That was like one of the main things about him. That's what made him stand out. Like he was, as soon as you saw him, you saw a smile. So it's like, you know what I mean? How can you not notice my boy? So it was like that.
That's good advice.
So, Benita, like him being the father of your son, have you seen Anthony try and change?
Over the past years, as long as I've been with Anthony, over 5 years, I have seen him change, you know, for the better. Growing up, he didn't really have his dad in his life as much as he wanted to. And him, you know, me telling him, you know, I was pregnant, you know, really changed him to do better, to, you know, go back into going to school every day, you know, back into playing sports. And he didn't want what he went through with his dad, he didn't want that to happen with AJ. He was, you know, he was changing. Like I said, he was my son idolized him.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you guys for putting this together and keeping his name alive.
Of course.
Thank you for speaking about him and keeping him alive.
So we'll be back with more of Anthony's friends and family. our Keep San Jose Clean PSA made by the Mayor's Gang Prevention Task Force. And if you want to keep San Jose clean, download the app and make sure to report any graffiti you see.
Hello, welcome back with us. We have Coach Darrell Williams, football coach at San Jose High. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Mr. Williams, you were Anthony's coach. Did you see change in Anthony from the time you met him to until his passing?
Yes, I didn't get a lot of time to spend with Anthony prior to him coming out for our football team. But once I got to know him, I found him was a very, enlightening young man. And, he told me about some things in his life earlier that he, wasn't happy with and happy about. But, he was telling me about how he wanted to change himself and better himself and that he had a son. And that was one of the things that I found that was very impressive about him was the fact that he had a son at such a young age, but he seemed to be having his thoughts and what he wanted to do. And he always said, he wanted to be a good father. And it was just pleasing to me to hear a young man take that view on it. And that was very, very enlightening to see that.
So, has this experience changed the way you interact with your students?
Yes, it changed a lot for me. I've been coaching for about 22 years, and I've never lost a player due to any violence. So I've been truly blessed that I haven't had to go through this. And it touched myself as well as my family to have to deal with this. I'm a father of 4, and having to deal with the loss of a player is hard because I spend a lot of time with these kids. Probably during the season and even before, probably more than I do with my own children. And you build relationships and trust, and you try to mentor and teach them and develop them. And the coaching aspect probably falls on the 5th of the scale. And I was starting to build that relationship with Anthony because I was very impressed with the fact that when we talked, he was not like he was one of our best star players, but a lot of times on the side, during practice, Anthony and I would have conversations, and he would tell me about things, and I was impressed about telling me about his son. And I was also very impressed with the fact that Anthony wanted me to meet his son, and he brought his son by the school, and I got a chance to meet his son, and that was very impressive to me that he thought enough of me in the short time that we knew each other that he wanted me to meet his son, and I will forever be touched by that and forever be touched by the loss of Anthony as well.
So by this experience happening, are you going to take any more steps into preventing something like this ever happening again?
Yeah, the preventive steps I take is trying to educate the kids on more of not only using sports as an outlet for them, but also the camaraderie that is built amongst their teammates and peers in school. It's just trying to give kids other activities and making sure that they have an outlet, and the outlet can be through sports, and we try to make sure that we build student athletes over at San Jose High that we are hoping can better themselves and round themselves, as Anthony was doing. It was hard, as we've all at our school, as well as in the community, has all felt the loss. And we just try collectively to better that. That's the key aspect of it. It's not one person that's going to make the change. It's us collectively. And that's parents, coaches, kids, administration, all of us together. There's a lot that needs to be done. And Anthony, hopefully, is the tip of starting a lot of other things that's needed in our area.
With Anthony passing, did it have a big impact on the team?
Yes, it did. It had a very big impact on our team, our entire program. As we talk about, it's not necessarily a team, we're a program, and Anthony affected our whole program. As a lot of our fellow teammates and stuff of his, we all attended the service, and we had a sort of a week and a half ago, we honored Anthony's memories, and we placed his initials on the back of our helmets. And we had every teammate in the program from our Farsoft team as well as our varsity team, and we all did that, and that was, as it was a long time coming, but it was a very moving moment for all of us in our program.
how has the community reacted or responded to the marches from the streets to the grave?
I've had a lot of good feedback from the community. The first march I did, I had over 200 people that marched with me. So it was really, really a good effect on the community, and a lot of support from the community. Even the mayor's office, I got a lot of support from them, and also from the chief of police that seen me out in the community and speaking out justice for my son Anthony, and I've got a lot of feedback, and even from a lot of the youth and a lot of the youngsters that people might be scared of as gang members are like supporting me on this. They're like, have my back on this, and it's awesome because I think people just get afraid of people, but it's not. I had a lot of young youth. I mean, most of my people that march with me are youth and young adults. I have more young adults than adults in my marches.
What message do you want to send to other mothers or women that are going through a similar situation?
I would like to say to mothers that have lost their child is that don't give up. Don't let this go as another case. Be your child's voice and go out to the community and, just be a part of the community and seek for justice, and don't ever give up, because eventually you keeping your son's name alive or you being out there, eventually someone will speak up, and I honestly believe that my justice will be served.
So if someone out there has any details involving the case, what is the best way for them to pass along the information?
If there's anybody that knows anything and they don't want to call the police station, they can always email me at from the streets to the grave at gmail.com, or else they could go to the Justice for Anthony's page and message me on the side. If not, they can call Crime Stoppers, or they can call the homicide unit. And every call if they call through the Crime Stoppers, it's anonymous, so they don't have to worry about it being traced.
We'd like to thank Elsa Lopez, Angel Santa Cruz, Benita Huerta, Martin Hill, and Coach Darrell Williams for being with us today and sharing the story of Anthony Santa Cruz. This is still a cold case homicide. This and other cases around San Jose are still unsolved. We need your help. If you know any tips, information, or leads leading to the closure of this case, please email youthempoweringthestreets@gmail.com or call the local San Jose Police Department.
We'd like to commend Elsa for her advocacy with Streets to the Grave in joining efforts to prevent further youth violence and crime in the streets of San Jose. Elsa has started the campaign called Justice for Anthony. You can find it on Facebook by searching Justice for Anthony Santa Cruz.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit our Facebook page, Youth Empowering the Streets, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at yes_MGPTF. Share your ideas for future topics if you're a youth and would like to be more involved. Message us on Facebook or emails at youthempoweringthestreets@gmail.com.
Thank you.